We begin with the farmer, who is given a sealed envelope from her grandfather as a child and instructed to open it only when the day comes that she feels crushed by the burden of modern life. Several years later, the farmer is now an adult, unhappily working in an office cubicle at the Joja Corporation, when she suddenly remembers the envelope. Opening it, she finds a letter from her grandfather, now deceased, explaining that he once felt the same way she does, having lost his connections to other people in nature, which he remedied by moving to his farm in Stardew Valley, a region on the southern coast. His letter goes on to state that he's gifting his farm to the farmer, with the deed also being enclosed inside the envelope, and that he wishes her good luck. With that, the farmer decides to follow his example and boards a bus bound for Stardew Valley in order to begin her new life. Disembarking the bus upon arrival, she's greeted by Robin, the local carpenter of Pelican Town, which borders the farm. Robin escorts the farmer to the farm, where she meets Lewis, mayor of the town, who has been tidying up the farmhouse for her arrival. Awakening the next morning, the farmer heads into town, where she explores the area and introduces herself to the townspeople. Afterward, she turns her attention back to the farm, beginning to clear the overgrowth of trees, weeds, and rocks that have built up after years of the land being neglected, replacing them with crop seeds, barns, and coops for livestock. Visiting the beach south of town, the farmer meets Willie, the local fisherman, who gifts her a fishing pole as a welcome present. Venturing to the mountains north of town, the farmer encounters Marlin, leader of the local Adventurers Guild, which carries gear for dealing with monsters. He shows the farmer an old abandoned mine shaft, explaining that it contains valuable ore, and gifting her an old rusty sword to deal with any creatures she might encounter during her excursions into it. With sword in hand, the farmer descends into the mines, collecting minerals and slaying monsters, utilizing an old elevator along the way until she finally reaches the bottom, where she finds the mysterious skull key. Having also discovered some artifacts inside the mines, the farmer enters the town's museum and donates them to Gunther, the curator, in exchange for other rare items. Wandering around town, the farmer comes across Lewis standing in front of a dilapidated building, which he identifies as the community center, and explains that Joja Corporation, the farmer's former employer and owner of Joja Mart, the general store located on the outskirts of town which competes with Pierre's General Store, has offered to purchase the property in order to turn it into a Joja warehouse. He then states that if even one more person in town buys a Joja Mart membership, he'll take that as a sign and sell the property to Joja. Entering the community center, the farmer catches a glimpse of a small creature just before it disappears and discovers a golden scroll on the ground with indecipherable writing upon it. Receiving a letter in the farm's mailbox the next day from M. Rasmodius, a wizard who lives in a tower within the Cindersap forest west of town, the farmer visits him, and he reveals to her the existence of Junimos, explaining that they're spirits of nature who have occupied the community center. The wizard translates the golden scroll and conveys the Junimos' message contained within it, that they will aid the farmer in exchange for gifts of the valley. After drinking from the wizard's cauldron of forest ingredients, the farmer gains the power of forest magic, granting her the ability to read the Junimo scrolls herself. Returning to the community center, the farmer finds several Junimo scrolls throughout the rooms, each requesting a variety of different items, from crops and fish to building materials and wild vegetation. The farmer has a choice to either help the Junimos and refurbish the community center, or purchase a Joja Mart membership and watch it be turned into a Joja warehouse. The farmer decides to help the Junimos, and as she completes their requests, they restore the rooms of the community center to like-new condition, along with making repairs around the town and farm to the bus, bridge, mine carts, and greenhouse. Before completing the Junimos' final task, however, the farmer has a change of heart, choosing to become a Joja Mart member after all, and the community center is renovated into a Joja warehouse. Morris, the Joja Mart manager, is then able to assist the farmer by utilizing the Community Development Projects form, using money instead of items to complete the final repair project of removing a large mountain boulder from the river, allowing minerals to flow into it, which can then be sifted out by panning. The farmer continues helping around town, assisting the townsfolk with their requests for goods and lost items, resulting in improved relations, gifts, recipes, blueprints, and money in return. She finds secret notes scattered about the area, which provide information about the town's inhabitants, as well as leading to discoveries of hidden items. She's also invited to various town events, including the Egg Festival, Dance of the Moonlight Jellies, Spirit's Eve, and the Night Market, where she's able to mingle among the gathering of townspeople and acquire rare items. Taking the newly repaired bus out to the Calico Desert, the farmer discovers the entrance to a cave called the Skull Cavern, which she unlocks using the skull key found earlier at the bottom of the mines. After entering the cavern, she receives a letter in the mail from a mysterious man known as Mr. Key, and upon completing a series of his strange requests, is granted access to his exclusive members-only casino within the Oasis store in the desert, where she finally meets him face-to-face, and he acknowledges her accomplishment. After gathering and providing the necessary materials for Willie and Robin to repair Willie's boat, the farmer uses it to travel south on the ocean to Ginger Island. There, she meets Leo, a boy raised by parrots after his parents were lost at sea, Birdie, an elderly widow of a pirate who never returned, and Professor Snail, a surveyor of the island's flora, fauna, and fossilized bones. After establishing a remote base of operations by giving golden walnuts to the island's parrots in order to repair a small farmhouse, the farmer assists the island's occupants, explores the island's volcano, and develops an island resort to incentivize Pelican Town's locals to travel to the island as well. After thoroughly venturing throughout the island, the farmer discovers a secret location hidden on the west side of it, Key's Walnut Room, and upon gaining entry, again finds Key, who appears to be monitoring all of Stardew Valley using several computer systems and displays. Again acknowledging the farmer's achievement, Key welcomes her, and makes her an offer to work with him in exchange for more rare and powerful items, which she accepts. Returning to the farm and going to sleep for the night, the farmer is visited in her dreams by the spirit of her grandfather, who explains that he's been watching her progress since she came to Stardew Valley. After careful evaluation of all that she's accomplished, he proclaims that he's very proud of her, and that his spirit can now rest, knowing that the future of the farm is in good hands. He bids her farewell and disappears, as she awakens to begin a new day in Stardew Valley.